Yaga and the Golden Bees. Once, long ago, when the bright lands were new and shiny, and the smell of Russian spirit was just a faint tickle in my nostrils, I lived in my chicken hut, Peter, with my two sisters. We made our home in an open field on the shores of the sea. I was younger then. My whiskers only came down to my chin. And instead of filling a whole house, we each only took up one room. Our noses to the ceiling, feet to the door, and teeth on the windowsill. Peter turned like a top, and all was well with the wide world. Now, one of these days, we went down to the water to speak with the fish folk, and Baba Jeza got too close to the shore. There was a jealous Rusalka that lived in those waters that had taken a disliking to her, and as Jeza's nose dipped down lower and lower, that scaly hussy blew her milky breath right into her left nostril, leaving her spluttering and cursing and generally unpleasant for the rest of the evening. Later that night, the whole house shuddered. It trembled and shook and moaned. Peter clucked and shuffled, and his spinning stopped as Baba Jeza started to send up a resounding snore. Her teeth shook the windowsill. Her feet cracked the door. And her nose blew a hole straight through Peter's fine roof. Like any self-respecting cock, he was having none of it and promptly ejected all of us out into the cold, dark night. In the light of the morning, we could see that Baba Jeza was in quite a fix. Her nose, of stately proportions before, was now swollen to the size of a Lyukoveshnaya glava, oozing green and yellow like a river. My sister and I tried poultices, herbs, beatings, pinchings, 1 cat, 5 cats, and even a tickle from Peter's tail feathers. But to no avail. Her nose was stubbornly staying the way it was, and that was that. Another night out in the cold, lit only by the glow of our fiery skulls to cheer us. We talked late into the night, we three, and decided that by hook or by crook, we must find a way to fix Baba Jeza's nose, or we'd never have a good night of sleep again. Come down. Baba Jeza stood at the side of the road leading to who knows where, waiting, like a speck of dust, turning into a fly, turning into a moth, turning into a mourning dove. A white rider hurtled toward her with a whip and a crack. Speaking through her wet mouth, she called, "Hey, Toe, withered so fast. Your horse is so thirsty and mustn't go lame." He cantered to a halt and eyed her up and down, taking note of the protuberance balanced atop her face.
"Your health, grandmother,"
he sighed.
"but I cannot stop. My brother rides fast and will soon catch me up."
"If you tell me the answer to one simple question, I will offer you my hospitality." Within my stable, time has no sovereignty, and you will be well on your way, rested and off before your brother can blink one time. You have my word.
He paused, considering her.
What is your question, old one? Speak fast, and if I know what you seek, I will answer.
Where can I find a cure for any illness in this bright land?
Ah,
He cried.
I know the place! On the tallest mountain in the thrice 10th kingdom, there contains such a wonder.
But, try as she might, he would say no more. Gnashing her teeth, she led him to the stable, as she promised. Baba Eki, my second sister, waited by the road next. Hours passed when, like a speck of dust, turning into a fly, turning into a moth, turning into a jaybird, a red rider hurtled toward her with a whip and a crack. Shouting with ill humor, she cried,
Hey, ho, whither so fast? Your horseshoes are cracking, and he mustn't go lame.
Once again, the rider halted, red cheeks flushed with ire.
Babushka, you call out my faults but offer no solution. I must ride for the edge of the world before my brother catches me up.
Craftily, Baba Eki offered hospitality in exchange for the answer to her question. And once again, the rider agreed to the bargain if it was in his power.
Red Rider, what is the cure for all illness that resides in the thrice 10th kingdom on the tallest mountain?
The question seemed to cause him great anger. He cried and pulled his beard and grated his teeth. Yet honor compelled him to answer.
The cure you seek is called Mied. That is all, and I will speak no more.
Try as she might, she could not pry another word out of him, and reluctantly led him to the stable where his younger brother had once rested. Now, it was my turn to wait. Hours passed until, like a speck of dust, turning into a fly, turning into a moth, turning into a bat, a black rider hurtled toward me with a whip and a crack. Hey, ho! Whither so fast? Your uzdeshka is broken, and your horse will go lame. Now, this rider was the largest and the oldest of all of them. His beard was as black as coal, and his eyes were stars. But his voice was soft and deep, and he spoke with respect.
Thank you for your concern, old one, but I must ride swiftly if I'm to outpace my brother right behind me.
I know how it feels. I have two sisters of my own, I agreed. Sometimes we must make sacrifices if we are to have any space at all. But if you would answer one small question I have, I will offer you rest and hospitality in my stable. Time will not catch you, and my servants will look after your stallion. All for one small favor to an old woman. Unlike his hasty brothers, he took his time considering. I almost thought he would not answer at all, but at last...
Will this question cause harm to me or mine, now or in the future?
No physical harm will come to you or yours, I quickly reassured him.
Agreed then. What do you wish to know, Babushka?
In whose hand lies the Mied that is found on the tallest mountain in the thrice 10th kingdom? Oh, his eyes burned with fire, and his breath smelled like lightning when he answered.
Who have you been speaking to, troublemaker?
Your brother, the Red Rider, and your brother, the White Rider. I must have this med to cure my sister. You promised, you know. At this, his eyebrows lowered, but he nodded his head.
I did. But this answer is worth more than a single rest in your stable. You must promise your hospitality for my brothers and I whenever we wish, and this can never be forsworn, nor can we brothers ever meet, or this bright world will be consumed. We are hungry and cannot stop ourselves from devouring each other. Do you agree?
I thought about an eternity of sitting outside my complaining chicken hut, resigned to hearing the constant snores and snuffles of Baba Jeza, and relented.
My brother, the Red Rider, took a wife not long ago. She is more precious to him than all the treasures in the world, and he has jealously hidden her away with her handmaids in a stepped palace on the edge of a meadow near the top of the mountain. She cannot venture beyond the sight of the castle, and it is impossible to climb the peak. If you choose, you must seek her when the sun is high. If he catches you near the mountain, your life is forfeit, for he will burn you to a crisp.
Solemnly I thanked him and led him to his rest. The dawn was breaking as I began my preparations to leave. Baba Eki decided to stay and look after Baba Jeza, whose snoot was now beginning to host small bumps like little red mushrooms.
Come back with the cure, or don't come back at all,
She groused.
At this rate, her schnozzle will burst, and then we'll all wash into the ocean and drown.
My mortar beneath me, pestle and broom in hand, I balanced my bony legs and hissed. Once, twice, thrice, I said a word and was off, shooting through the air like a shuttlecock. The many-colored lens spread beneath me like a tapestry as I approached the thrice 10th kingdom. The sun grew high as a tall mountain loomed before me. Eagles and hawks circled low, unable to climb so high as the tallest peak reached. Pushing through clouds and air as thin as stone soup, I finally came upon the meadow, bathed in sunlight and filled with flowers of rainbow hues. It was surrounded by tall trees full of ripening fruit. As I landed, a large group of golden-haired women rushed out of their palace to greet me, each lovelier than the last. Finally, the most beautiful of all, with a brow that shone like moonlight and like sunlight all together, grasped my hands kindly.
Greetings, babushka. What brings you to this remote palace? We have never had a visitor before, and our hospitality is yours.
Taking me to their kitchen, they sat me down and served a hearty meal of one of everything, while her maidens danced and sang. Daughter, I am in desperate need of the mied from your household. My sister is ill, and your elixir is the only thing that will save her from an eternity of misery. Secretly, she smiled at me and waved her maids away. Leaning close, she whispered,
Will you do me one favor if I give you what you ask?
Good deeds don't come cheap these days. What is it you wish?
Save me from the Red Rider. He took me away from my own dear lands, and the young Tsar I recently married, my one true love, will die from heartbreak if I do not return. Hide in my closet, and when he arrives at sunset, you can speak a word and kill him dead.
That I cannot do. I've promised the brothers that no harm will come to any of them. But if you give me what I seek, I will see what I can do. She called in her maids, and I watched as they prepared the mead, gathering nectar from 100 flowers with their porcelain hands. Their conversations buzzed and murmured as they made their preparations. Finishing their work, Red Rider's wife brought me a small vial of the thick, golden mead. Holding it out of my reach, she cried,
"And now for my payment. What will you do, Baba?"
"I know a way that you and your maids can escape this meadow and make your way home. But if you do not find your lover in 3 months, you will be forced to travel the land forever, searching for the sweetness of love. Do you want to take that chance?" Placing the bottle in my hand, she firmly said,
"I do."
Taking 1 drop of mead for every maiden, I placed the thick honey on their lips, and as they danced, I said a prayer, then spoke a word. Up from the stepped palace flew the first swarm of golden bees, streaming across the meadow and down the mountain, fading like a warm summer haze in the distance. As I flew away from the thrice 10th kingdom into the setting sun, I heard a mighty roar. I didn't look back. Now, did Baba Jeza return to normal? Well, it depends on the angle that you look at her nose, but I wouldn't mention it if I were you. Red Rider still won't talk to me all these long years since. On hot days, when the wind is whispering and the flowers full and inviting, you can still hear the maidens buzzing at their work, always searching for the sweetness of love, and quick to defend their treasures. Quick to die, too. But that is what an impetuous heart gets you, they say. In their mead, you can taste the sweetness of a first love, as well as the sun's gentle warmth. And every spring, the queen will roam, searching, searching, searching for the love-sick Tsar, unable to rest until she reaches her own land. Now the story is told, and the word is like a sparrow. Once out, it is out for good. May its song reach many ears.